I wanted to make a quick video about the game No Man's Sky because, hey, it's got a lot of hype around it, or had a lot of hype. So, one thing is clear. I want to just say this right now because this is a kind of important fact when going in to this game. This is an indie title, actually. 15 people or so. I don't want to... I'm not trying to intentionally skew statistics and facts about this, but I'm not going to pretend I'm the most educated on the game either. It's certainly an interesting case. It's a smaller team who made a game that's probably one of the more massive games in existence. So, I've been playing it lately, exploring planets and the such, on the PC version, unfortunately, because I've heard the PlayStation 4 is a lot better. And yeah, it's certainly a tricky one. To express my thoughts simply and thoroughly, I will say it like this. No Man's Sky is an interesting conceptual game that asks the question, what if you could explore a literally endless universe with a spaceship and space weapons and space stuff, and what if you just... that was a game? What if that was a game? It's almost sort of what No Man's Sky is, and admittedly, I will say, the price point, no, it's not quite worth a full $60 if you're, especially if you're someone who is kind of light in the pocket in terms of cash. I wouldn't recommend the game at full price, but with that in mind, let's keep moving in, because I don't think it's a bad game. I just think that, well, one, the PC port has some problems. I've got some pretty damn good hardware in terms of I'm VR capable. I can run VR games pretty effectively, and this game doesn't run that well on my computer, and it made getting footage for this pretty difficult. I had to change the resolution around, or at least presumably I'm recording this before I actually get any gameplay, assuming I'm actually going to record this gameplay. Anyways, so this game is pretty cool. I think that it's beautiful in terms of what it was going for. It's just, there's something pretty amazing to me about looking at a planet in your spaceship on the horizon of another planet and being able to just go there. Not a lot of games do that. And I know that, people can point to Minecraft and sort of say, oh, well, that game's infinite too, so, why is this impressive? And in some sense, you could say No Man's Sky isn't necessarily impressive by, technological standards, but in my opinion, it somewhat is. I mean, considering what I know about the game and that it was made by the creators of, 15 people, it's still quite the feat. It's just so engaging to be able to explore so endlessly. This game is such a perfect game if you really, really enjoy exploring. But if you're someone who prefers a bit more substance to their game, someone who likes a bit more context and why am I doing what I'm doing, and should I be doing this, and there needs to be a reason, it has to be important for some reason, this is probably not the game for you. Substance-wise, at least in my very limited experience with the game, thus far as of this recording, I can say that it doesn't have extreme amounts of substance, but what I have seen has been enough to keep me playing, at least. I want to at least see what kinds of planets I can find, and if I keep running into planets that are really samey, I will probably get bored and stop playing the game. But if I run into some planets that, hey, that was something I wasn't expecting, then that's awesome, that's awesome. I really want to find, right now, as I record this, I want to find a planet that has, a civilization on it. That's a fully civilized planet, much like our own, that we currently live on. Earth, that one. I kind of want to find a planet like that in No Man's Sky. I don't know if I will. I don't know if every single planet is basically designed to be not that. It's only Like, in my short time playing, I've only encountered one type of alien that's, like, sentient, and it's, like, this weird robot thing with this, like, helmet on, and most of them just sit in chairs, and you don't see anyone else out exploring. But let me just say that No Man's Sky has so much potential here for, like, the engine, like, the idea for the engine alone has so much potential. Having an infinite, vast universe to explore, but having a lot of substance and context, you would be making the perfect sci-fi game, in my opinion. This game is very close to teetering on the end of the spectrum of perfect sci-fi game, at least in its base concept. A game where you can continuously and endlessly go. And also, can we just talk about for a second how awesome it is, conceptually at least? Maybe you could say that the execution isn't great, but I think that it's at least decent in No Man's Sky. They at least present the idea in a way that is cool. It's at least good enough on the surface level. It shows you the planet. You go to the planet by going towards it, and you'll eventually see that everything is starting to, like, in my experience, I can see that the game, like, loads up the planet sort of as you get to it, but that doesn't really bother me all that much. It's morely just if it didn't have to do that. As badly, at least. Maybe the PS4 version is better and I haven't played it, so I wouldn't know. But I'm really reviewing the PC version here. Really, review isn't quite the word, but morely, these are my thoughts on it. The game isn't my favorite, but it's just engaging enough so far. And I know it's more of a thought so far. I haven't played hundreds of hours or even 10 hours. I've only played probably like 3 or 4, but still, at this point, the game has been fun, and I think that maybe it'll probably give me about 6 to 7 more hours of entertainment before I realize there isn't enough substance to keep me going for hundreds of hours. Putting my thoughts on this game into words is tricky, because it's sort of like, imagine a game that has essentially one of the coolest ideas ever done in some shape or form. That alone, to me, makes the game stand on its own 2 legs. But I think that No Man's Sky is a game that is begging for some kind of sequel or something. Not like the developers were like, oh, we need to make a sequel, or we really wanted to make a perfectly awesome, amazing sequel. I just think that No Man's Sky has a great foundation for something even greater. Like an endless game like this that is endless for all of the right reasons, and isn't something that can bore you very easily. Like, this shit is like, my ideal vision is a little too crazy, but if they ever reach a No Man's Sky that features like fully civilized planets and planets that aren't, and like being able to build like your own structures across the galaxy and shit, that would be awesome. Maybe you can build structures somewhere in No Man's Sky. I don't know yet. But from what I've played so far, it seems like an interesting exploration romp. It doesn't seem like there's excessive amounts of content here for me to find. It feels like there's a lot of places to just see and just see what the game throws at you next. It's not something for people who don't really care for games that don't really have a story. It's definitely not really story driven. It's much more player driven. The game is very like, hey, we're here, you want to pick us up and play, go explore a planet or two, an entire planet, an entire fucking planet. Like, that is so awesome. Like, if we got an Elder Scrolls game of this size, we would have the best Elder Scrolls game. We'd have the best game ever, basically. If we got a planet-sized Elder Scrolls game, like, that's what this game makes me This game makes me think of what you can do with this kind of scale, because with this kind of scale, anything is possible. You could make one of the best games ever made, basically. So when I look at No Man's Sky, I see a game that's pretty cool. I don't think it's amazing, but I think it's at least cool on the surface. You get some pretty cool, far-out visuals, and the creatures can vary between pretty majestic and just flat-out, what the fuck, sometimes. But overall, I would say this game If you like exploring, it's probably for you. If you don't, well, maybe not. If you like exploring and mining for materials and collecting stuff, this is a pretty neat game, and it's probably worth about $20 to $30, I would say, based on its production value. And I hope they fix the PC version soon. This has been my rambling on, well, No Man's Sky, as you can tell. And I hope you guys enjoyed, and I want to thank a specific person who messaged me to inspire the creation of this video. Literally, if you guys like this stuff, I want you to let me know. Like, if there are any of you out there who are listening at this point, if you made it this far into the video, just let me know that you want to hear more from me, because I'm willing to record more opinion pieces like this. It's just, I'm not really sure. My channel's so young, I don't really know what to do with it yet. So if this is something that intrigues you and you like just listening to me go off about a game, I can do it all day. Let's just put it that way. I can do this with any game that I've played in some shape or form. So yeah, if you think that my opinion is interesting, please inform me, like this fan did to, I don't really want to call him a fan, like a sort of friend of the show. Let's just put it that way. Someone who enjoys my content informed me that he enjoys my content. So I was inspired to record my thoughts so far on No Man's Sky. Thank you again, sir, for doing that. That was a much-needed motivation boost in a time that I felt I had little motivation to make videos. This has been CBGog, and thanks for listening.